every show, I gave a mini sermon about like why our name came about and what we were there for, and that I invited people to come and talk to us if you have questions about our faith. Like, it was always centered on a purpose. It's just the mechanism of delivery was loud rock music where I was screaming and slinging sweaty hair around. And so, but now the mechanism is influence on these 58 people in this building, and then how that exponentially grows to the 400 students that we serve, and then their families. And it's good because I think I could look ahead and see like, well, you're still doing fun things. I've got a 1976 CJ5 that, well, the engine's blown right now, but it's a blast, and I go play disc golf a lot, and I still get to play music, and I get pumped about guitar stuff still. So a lot of that hasn't died. It's just molded into something new that is even more meaningful than the band stuff.
I'm Adam Ferguson, and this is Downright Mindful. Adam Ferguson joins us for a conversation about teaching, leadership, and how his path took him all the way from frontman in a Christian rock band to the principal's office. Literally. This is an honest conversation, it's thoughtful, and there's even a few dad jokes sprinkled in there. Let's get right down to it.
First thought. No thought, just first thought. It's kind of a thought. 5 songs, no explanation. Go.
And you have to sing them. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop thinking. First song that came to mind. Go.
I'm not real good with song names.
Well, then you have to sing it then. Wasn't this guy in a band?
He was.
Yeah.
Probably more than
started there.
So when he says stuff like that, oh, come on.
I mean, it's going to go there. You might as well.
All right, erase. Forget it. Let's see how you're thinking. Nope. We're going to go back into the storyline. So here we are at Oak Grove.
Yep.
Mr. Ferguson. Or maybe that was your dad who hired me. Okay.
True.
Playing in a band? How old were you?
Oh, gosh. Okay. It depends on which one.
You knew this already.
Yeah. I mean, I was around. Yeah.
All right. So,
Different genre bands? I mean, what's going on here? I know there was a rocker, Adam, back in the day. We've had those conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that.
We'll start with the first one.
That was the deep end. Okay. First, I started playing guitar when I was 13. I was not very good for a really, really long time. And so I was in this worship band with a bunch of other 13 and 14-year-old kids. And
at North Cleveland Baptist?
No. I was at Clingman Ridge. The rest of them were at First Baptist. And I mean, we played all over the place. We had connections. People.
That's 13 and 14-year-olds?
Yeah.
And you were bad?
Was he bad? I was bad. The rest of them weren't. I was.
Are these names that we still know? Matt knows everybody, so throw a couple names out.
Lori Hampton. She's now Lori Durham. She married Logan Durham. She was kind of the lead person. She was the super talent. Kyle Runyon was the drummer. Stephen Beasley did bass for a while.
Beasley.
But we were like super young / my parents would drive me where I needed to go. But then shortly after that, Mr. Paris's brother, Big Nasty as we used to call him.
He's Mr. Paris, and brother is Big Nasty.
Yes, yeah.
He's not so big anymore. He's still nasty, though.
He and I ended up being super great friends. But so he was in a band called Mercy's Hand. And to me, as a budding, want to be a musician, would dream of like someday playing like in an opening band for Mercy's Hand, because I thought that they were that big of a deal.
All right, so you'll know those name those names, because he'll know those guys.
I can't believe you laughed at that. Like, I really meant that. I thought they were the biggest thing. Like, it was Creed and then Mercy's Hand.
Buddy, well, yeah, but listen.
I love the green.
Listen, I watched
the pinnacle.
I was there when I used to go run sound for those guys.
Yeah.
I was just a teenager, but
How old are you? How old are your brother? How old is your brother? How old is Adam?
Adam,
I was 15.
you're a year younger than me, is that right? Or
I'm 39.
a couple years younger than me. So I would have been in the
Graduated in
04.
02. I would have been the 16-year range. But what's so funny about that is this is just a bunch of teenage boys. Half of them are struggling to play their instruments. Now, you had Trey White. Trey White was super talented.
He was
he could have been as good as he wanted to be. But I watched, what's so funny about that is like, I watched those guys go into a side room at Clinging Ridge for like 5 minutes and write a very simple, very elementary lyrics to the most classical blues melody you've ever heard. And they came out and performed it that night, and it was like their biggest song amongst their little following. And this guy's
Is this
dreaming.
a blues band?
No.
Blues.
no.
Okay. Yeah.
No, so
Still
it was,
worship
It was
band?
Trey White
Yeah.
playing on lead guitar, Jonathan Kyle lead
Mm-hmm.
vocal, Justin Dunn was the drummer, Michael Broom played rhythm guitar, and then
And he provided rap music.
yes,
He dropped verses too. So
yeah, he dropped bars on one of the songs. They created some space and he filled it. And it was, and then Nick Paris was the bassist. So at some point, Nick left the band, and they needed a bass player.
Look at the look in his eyes, man.
there you go.
And I got the call. And I'm telling
Love
you,
it.
I was like, Sony's signing me right now. Like this is when it happens.
Yeah.
And so like I got some tight shirts and some super glue for my fingers because I wasn't a bass player, I was a guitar player. And so
Did you put super glue on your fingers for
I
real?
got blisters from plucking the strings because I wasn't used to it. And so I learned that you can super glue the tips of your fingers and they go numb, and so you can't feel the pain anymore. And so we went around.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
That's what cracks me up is you had played so little bass that you didn't even have calluses on your fingers.
Yeah, my left hand was okay. But
We talk about reps all the time, and like, hey, calluses, like that's like, you've put the time in.
so not only did I not have a bass, I borrowed the bass of the ex-bass player and all of his setup. Like none of it belonged to me. In fact, the songs didn't belong to me either. I was so bad that on the record, the next record they recorded, they sort of gave me an honorary spot of trying to record some of the songs, and then after I left, Trey re-recorded them on bass to make sure that they were okay.
Yeah, but he did that a lot. Like he was in that group. He was the musician. Like at the time.
He was so good. So,
How long did that last?
I would guess a couple years tops. So, and then college.
Hold on. We'll do this a couple times. So here's your storyline, brother. Born and raised, Bradley County?
Yeah.
Okay. What is that 15-year-old saying to this guy who's the principal of Oak Grove Elementary School?
What's he saying right now?
He can
see
see you. He
Okay.
sees your office right now. What's he thinking?
I'm glad that beard is going to happen.
Okay. Now, hey, volley something back. What is this guy saying to that 15-year-old? What would you say to that 15-year-old?
The beard is proportional to the amount of joint pain.
That's fair. That's fair.
No.
I love it. No, leave it. First thought, love it. We'll come back to next thoughts. All right, so there's college. Same band?
No.
Okay.
No. Different
band.
one. Yeah.
This is like a third band.
I mean, there were some others in between, but nothing.
You are a rock star.
Nothing. Oh man. No. So, met up with some guys that
College, where you at?
actually this was at Cleveland State.
Okay.
So, I went to UTK for a semester. I made some poor choices involving Halo 2 and came to Cleveland State the next semester. And met up with some guys, one of them with whom I went to high school with. And so he's like, hey, I've got this band, would you like to come try out? So I tried out for the band. They let me in the band. We played and did some shows in different states and stuff. And once again, I was not the talent of that group either. And eventually that just kind of disbanded.
What'd you call that band? Did y'all call it?
That was Temporary Residence.
Okay.
And then I just played rhythm guitar for them and screamed. So.
Is this an emo band? I mean, you graduated in 04, so we're genre lines.
Genre lines are so dark.
This is between.
I feel like they're too gray for me to answer that question.
This is like somewhere between Creed and Linkin Park. Is that right? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Then y'all must have been great.
Wow.
I mean, like.
Well, I'm talking about just the inspiration.
Matt Paris, I'm inspired by where you went just then. And so, hung out with those guys a lot. We practiced in a little church on Lamontville Road. So over exit 36, hang a left, and go. And the first church you see is the one.
Go out to like Rogers Creek or somewhere?
Not that far,
No.
but getting close.
I gotcha.
There was this one time the lights went out in this little church, and so we go outside, and the sky is flashing blue, the whole sky. So what in the world is happening? And so we load up in Dustin Everett's VW bus. Oh, sorry, this is a different band. But we load up in the bus and we start rolling out to find where this light's coming from. Now, a lot of the guys are excited. I'm praying for repentance because I think the Lord's coming back. And so we get over into the Calhoun area, and there is a transformer that has blown, and it's arcing all over the place, right? So I'm telling you, like, this is miles away. And so we find the light, and once we find the light, we're now in a traffic jam. And I'll never forget it. We're all piled in this old black VW bus, and every time Dustin turns the wheel to its full length, there's a short in the horn, and so he max turns and so then he'll turn the other way, and so everybody's frustrated because we're all stuck in traffic, and now they're all watching us, this busload full of college age ugly dudes, and like we're staring at them as we're back and forth trying to turn around. That was a fun night. We didn't finish practice.
I need every band name that we're mentioning, though.
Okay.
Give me another band name for that one.
Oh, that was Achilles.
And that's the one I've been waiting to hear about.
Yeah.
Now, you were frontman there, right?
Yeah, that was the one that probably had the...
Man, you played that cool. This whole journey you've been describing, I'm not that guy, and then all of a sudden he throws you in
He was that
to
guy.
the frontman role, and you were just like,
He had the
it's
hair.
me.
The hair was amazing.
Oh, gosh.
If I can find a picture, it's going in the B-roll of this video.
It's fine.
When I first started growing my hair out in middle school or maybe early high school, I'll never forget my dad in his loving way. Dad was the one, he was willing to have those hard conversations with me. And still is to this day, which I really appreciate, honestly. But my hair was straight and relatively dense, and it went over my ears, and I'll never forget my dad saying, "Son, you need a haircut. You look like Princess Leia."
Is that how you remember it?
Yes. No, it was very in. It was awesome hair. If I look at it now, man, he had awesome hair. So, but yes, I could see his dad.
It would be better now than it was then.
His dad's a statesman, man. You know his dad, right?
Yeah.
You know his dad has a beautiful bass singing voice.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I could.
Dad was in a Southern Gospel quartet that recorded records, and
Yeah.
I learned about bass lines from listening to Dad in church.
He's a technician. Yes.
A hero of yours, then. Hey, you remember this guy playing?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So you got to volley some of these stories back.
But here's the thing.
If he's going to say that about your hair and laugh that fast, kind of that furious,
I complimented his hair.
You laughed first.
Some of my
Complimented second.
earliest memories about Matt Paris and his musicality. Number one, the family sang, and it was one of those like everybody sang at the same time. But also, like, we went to this church where I don't know that the musicians necessarily knew if they were going to play each Sunday. And there would be times where there was no drummer that showed up. See Matt Parrish walking over the drum set, ready to rock and roll, did not know what songs they were playing because we called the songs out like, all right, we're going to turn to this one.
There was no plan.
There was no plan. And so he's just over on the drums and he
When he's
handles
at his best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember Nick, his brother, would send me clips that Matt had recorded of himself, like singing songs and stuff. And it's like, holy cow. The natural ability, pitch, especially vocal pitch, the natural ability is like, this is awesome. This dude knows what he's doing and nobody had to tell him.
Well, you're being nice, but I'm uncomfortable. So let's talk about something else.
I love this. We need more of this. We need more of this because he deflects all the time.
You can find some Matt Parrish recordings on Facebook, and he has posted them himself.
Yep, that's right. Have you listened to some of that?
I have.
Have you listened to some of that hymns that he does?
Yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty recent that you put that out.
Yeah, but the singing is not. It's just. It's the stories that makes that something. The
I'm in it
singing
for
is
singing,
just for the intro. Anyways, what are we talking about these for? Let's talk about this Bluetooth coffee cup.
It is a Bluetooth coffee cup, but
What?
it's a Bluetooth cup. So, Oak Grove teachers, shout out. They got me this coffee
Well,
cup.
I can
my
see
first
you
year.
down the hallway doing this. I can see you peeking your head in every single room and going,
No.
"Good morning, kids. Let's see it again.
Yeah,
Let's see it again.
you
One
are
more
seeing-
time. Come
you
on."
you are seeing my I don't present this way as a principal in front of the kids.
What?
No.
I've seen you slide and slime.
Yeah.
We do our homework around here, man.
Good, yeah.
I'm on the internet. I'm watching videos.
Those kids worked hard
I'm on
for
Facebook.
that slime, and
Yeah.
you only saw one, but they, the whole student body's out there, and they're one more time. So I did that thing 3 times.
I would have liked to have seen a longer slide. Yeah, you're a big man.
So I
You hit
actually,
that grass
I
and just-
borrowed that from my daughter without her consent, and she has
rip it?
let me know. No,
Okay.
no, but it still smells like whatever made that slime. I still can't wear the clothes that I was wearing during that. They've been washed multiple times, and whatever was in that concoction. Shout out to Michaela Anderson. Well done on making the slime. It was rough.
Let's go back to Achilles.
Hit me.
Hold on, Bluetooth cup.
Oh, he didn't
I
fix
can
the Bluetooth
control
cup?
this with
Sorry.
an app. There's a heating element in here. The teachers got this for me year 1 because they knew how much, what a healthy relationship I had with coffee. And so they got me that, and I can control how hot the coffee is, and it'll stay warm for hours.
That is the most ridiculous, genius thing I've ever heard.
It's so good.
Love it.
Wow.
Yeah, Ember mug. Do I need to show it to the camera? Like, it's going to roll on YouTube?
It's on the yeah, there you go.
Product placement.
Demonstration.
Yeah, we all are.
I like that.
Oak Grove. Oak
We
Grove
have no
happens.
sponsors at all. Now we do. All right, back to
Yeah, so Achilles, how long of a run was the Achilles?
About 3.5 years.
I started to say, I felt like it was a pretty good little...
Yeah, it was a good run. Started hanging out and playing. We played some at Klingen Ridge in that warehouse area, and then
Is Nick in this band with you?
yes, yeah,
thought
he
so.
played bass.
This is you, Cody Manning?
Cody Manning, Brett Kirksey, Jason McDonald was with us for a while. Dustin Everett ended up coming in later in the lifespan of the band. So yeah, we went around and played in all sorts of places, different states. This is going to sound more like a bigger deal than it is, okay?
that it is.
Can we just prep
I'm going
for
to give
this?
credit where credit is due.
We signed with a record label out of
You knew this.
North Georgia.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Let me tell you though, the record label was a guy that knew some other guys, and then we signed a contract with him. Now they did book shows for us and little, mini events and all of that stuff. They also provided some recording time and promos.
Put some stuff out. Is there a CD floating
We
out
got
there?
multiple. Yeah, we got multiple CDs that were
Stamps and
recorded.
vinyls.
No, but we were. I thought our marketing was great. So what we would do is we made our own ringtones with a free app, and then people would pay us $1, and we'd put their number down, and then we would send them the ringtones via text. We also printed iron-ons, And so we would sell iron-ons. We didn't sell T-shirts. We sold iron-ons to put on your own T-shirt, and got some money that way. So,
Money from the contract as well?
no, this was just Achilles level.
Okay.
So at some point during that time, was there ever aspirations or hopes that like I want to do this forever?
Oh man,
Because there kind of is with every teenage
Yes.
artist, isn't there?
holy moly!
I mean,
yes.
you're 10 years into this. How old are you with Achilles?
college age. Yeah, I'm
Have you graduated?
No. No,
Are you
I
on,
was-
like, the
I was
7-year track to graduate?
I was 20-ish,
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we went to Nashville and hand-delivered our demos to them. I'm sure they just
Who's them?
tossed them at like Sony, like places that had no clue who we were. And, yeah, I wanted to do this thing like full time. I grew out my hair. I wore tight pants. We might need to edit that out. Like I dressed the part. I acted the part.
He really did look the part. He looked
I
like a
felt-
superstar. He did.
I wanted to be that, and
Did he have those muscles back then?
I was very thin.
No, he wasn't very thin. He was thin, but ever since Adam was a preteen, we knew like this dude's got genetics. Like he's walking into weight rooms with zero experience and lifting weight he should not be able to lift.
He's not denying it.
There was a time I wanted to be a cage fighter.
He was a lot. He's
That
the kind
maybe
of
is a
kid you would
different
have.
train.
Same era, new dream. Same.
A little bit after, but yeah, like Nick was like my trainer for a while. Hey, at his house.
Okay, see, I think this is where you went wrong. This is where you messed up.
I love this. All right, so we're gonna do this. I told you a couple times. All right, you are now this guy because you just threw cage fighting in there.
Yeah.
So you've got the look, you've got the sounds, you've got the fans. It seems. You've got the ambition. You've got the dang gumption to go to Nashville. Mm-hmm. Okay, this guy now sees you in this office as
Yeah.
principal of a.
Yeah.
What is this guy saying to you?
Nerd. no.
He might be true to this guy, man. Don't let this guy down.
If younger guy looked at me long enough as 39-year-old elementary school principal, he'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're all right. Because those same ambitions of like getting excited about either a position or this track that God has allowed in life, like that has never died. It's just matured a little bit. Like I'm pumped about the hiring process of getting a great candidate into the school.
Let's see that.
And I'm excited about, like Matt was telling me, hey, I'm going to take some B-roll footage. And I just texted him, I was like, hey, the weeds are rough right now. And he's like, I want you, but I'm excited about the presentation of this building. And there's no sense of like, I love having the power of being a principal. It's not that at all. There's influence here. And even through all of like those Achilles days, there was always this idea that our music is meant to influence, because we were a Christian band, and every show I gave a mini sermon about like why our name came about and what we were there for, and that I invited people to come and talk to us if you have questions about our faith. Like it was always centered on a purpose. It's just the mechanism of delivery was loud rock music where I was screaming and slinging sweaty hair around. And so, but now the mechanism is influence on these 58 people in this building, and then how that exponentially grows to the 400 students that we serve, and then their families. And it's just, it's good, because I think I could look ahead and see like, well, you're still doing fun things. I've got a 1976 CJ5 that, well, the engine's blown right now, but it's a blast. And I go play disc golf a lot, and I still get to play music, and I get pumped about guitar stuff still. So a lot of that hasn't died. It's just molded into something new that is even more meaningful than the band stuff. The band stuff was really for me. Like in the end, yes, it had a Christian message, and we were pushing out the right things. And
Writing your own songs?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. But there was a lot of selfishness still in that, selfish ambition of
You were 20.
wanting to become something that felt like it defined.
What's this guy saying to that guy? What would you say to that guy?
Slow down. So many decisions made in haste are seasoned with regret. And if you could just slow down and assess the importance that doesn't fade as the shiny things do, you might make some better choices.
This guy holding on to any regrets, or are you just speaking from a place of like reconciliation and some wisdom?
Holding on to regrets has a connotation I don't think would be fair based on what I feel. I don't feel like I'm holding on to any. Do I look back and cringe?
Sure.
Oh my, yes. Right. I mean, yeah. But no, like I don't feel like I'm holding on to any regrets. If there were things that needed to be reconciled, I feel like those have been reconciled. So
35 is just a made up number I just came up with, but it feels like a threshold.
yeah.
Once you cross that and then you start looking back and you go, you know, we have those moments, right? So that's kind of what that is. But I need a band origin story because I don't know it. So like you were telling that at your concerts about where the name
band
came
name.
from
Okay,
in your
yeah.
mini sermons.
Yeah.
All right, so I need that.
Well, so it's kind of.
Do you know this?
It's kind of twofold.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I may have known it 25 years ago, but I don't know.
Well, if you
I can just look this up on a YouTube video.
nah.
Okay.
No, maybe on the DVD, but
Is there a DVD?
see, I slid that in there.
Marketing. You said you loved it.
Achilles Man Duck. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, we had a MySpace.
Hey,
and we-
websites. That's it. MySpace.
MySpace.
Hey, it ain't dead.
Is it not?
No, we look it up in class. Yeah, it's still alive.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's not what it was.
My wife and I share a Facebook, so I mean, like, I don't do social media very much. Okay, so it was twofold. Number one, you needed a name that sort of represented. It gave the connotation for your music. Like, we don't want to be like, you know, rosy sunbeams when like I'm up there screaming and sweating on people, and so we needed something that felt masculine, you know.
Brad
like
Pitt,
You could.
Troy. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what's in my brain.
Yeah,
right
because
now.
if you've seen Troy, you know that Achilles brings the pain, and that's what
I will
we
no
wanted
longer
to
think of
do.
Brad Pitt anymore. I will now think of Adam Ferguson.
There you go.
I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, well,
So there was that, but then also like Achilles had this one area of weakness, right? And it was his heel, you know, from which he was dipped into the stuff that made him invincible. And so I took that and put a parallel with that. In humanity, our one weakness is that we are imperfect, and that imperfection necessitates a savior. And then that's how I sort of led into the gospel message. So that was it.
that's not it. You kept going on that stage.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure.
The spirit. Yes, the Baptist spirit, Pentecostal spirit, the rock and roll spirit, the emo spirit. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
You were there.
I mean, it's
Were you
just-
there in the crowd?
It's not like it was the same message every time.
No.
I know. I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't know if I ever saw Achilles live. I don't know if I did. I think I was off doing other things by then. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. I promise.
Nick
No,
didn't
it's
slip
fun.
that DVD in and say,
So
I
Hey,
heard
check
them
this
for
out.
sure. I mean, I probably had a CD in my
So
truck.
I
at
don't
some
know
point.
that
mixtape, Achilles mixtape.
Yeah,
I don't know that either of these guys are going to hear this podcast necessarily, but
they won't.
so Brett, I don't think he would mind me telling you this, nor would Jason mind me, but Brett had a Guitar Bug $300 wireless guitar system, right? So put the receiver at your amp, transmitter goes into your guitar, no cable. Beautiful, right? Brett did that guitar thing where you sling the guitar up and over your head on the strap and it comes back around, you catch it, right? We've all tried it.
Never in my life, but I get it.
He did that at a show. We were in Hickson, actually, at a venue called The Warehouse. I'll never forget it. He did that, and his strap broke, and the guitar went up. As the guitar came down, it smashed that guitar bug into pieces, middle of the set. Right, and he's just, like, I remember seeing him laying down or sitting down on the stage, just like distraught that the guitar bug was shattered. We were playing in North Carolina, and Jason did not have a wireless system. Jason had a cable in his guitar. And he did this cool jumping spin move, but when he did, he hog-tied his feet together with his cable and fell off the stage.
This is the rips we're talking about.
I mean, this is like, there was a time Nick had hurt himself at his job. I think that's when he was working at Sunset, and he had hurt his foot, and I was up on the monitor. I think I was probably screaming or something. I had my foot on the floor wedge, and I accidentally pushed it off the stage.
Oh my!
He was down in the crowd thumping on his bass, and it landed on his foot. He was so mad at me in the mid-set. I guess if you want to call them reps, it's more so like I'll never do that again. So.
That's part of it.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Did you eventually get those calluses?
Not for bass, no.
Yeah. It's a different set.
Yeah, I mean left hand you keep them, but no, right-handed it's full on, totally different ball game.
What's this guy studying? Education?
No, I got my bachelor's degree in geology. You want to just let that sit for a minute?
Yeah. I'm not surprised, and I think we've had this conversation before, you and I, because we've been hanging out for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Over a decade. I mean, like, when did you get to Ocoee?
2011.
When did you get to Ocoee?
2014, 15.
Do you know this guy? I mean, as soon as you walked in the building, like, you started reminiscing?
Yeah, I mean, we were in kids' church together.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so got my bachelor's in geology. Was working at Wholesale Supply Group, driving a forklift and picking, inventory and all that stuff for a while. Both my parents were educators. Decided I was going to try to do something novel and unique, and I ended up feeling like, okay, maybe I'm supposed to be a teacher. So I went and got into the MAT program at Lee and got a job at Ocoee Middle. Ron Spangler hired me, and he was like a school dad to me, and it was good.
He was a school dad to me for sure.
Yeah.
He loved saying no. I've told this story before, especially to you, but you and I certainly.
Yep.
But school dad, which means if you return back, he would say, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Always had to go through the no first. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good.
That guy, man, he provided so many opportunities for so many of us. Yeah, it's cool. How about that first year teacher? He sees you in this office. I remember that first year teacher. I mean,
Me too.
We had a pretty amazing group of guys at Ocoee Middle School at that time. Mm-hmm. And we spent a significant portion of our time together, even off campus doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would he say?
What's that guy? He sees you as the elementary school principal. Yeah.
Didn't know I had it in me.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I think he would look at me and say, I did not see that coming.
Hmm. So when did that switch happen? When did that turn? What was the spark? Something? Many things? What do you see? Because online, you do a little work, you got a whole lot of folks in this community and inside your building that love you being here, appreciate you being here.
Well,
it's very cool to see that, because that's how it's supposed to be. Your principal is supposed to be that anchor for this community. You got 400 kids. That means you got, hundreds of families. Every one of your teachers right here represents another family, whether they're in this area or not, this zone.
Yeah.
So you're a big deal. That switch.
The switch, it had, oh gosh, it's embarrassing to say, and it sounds like almost like a pity party, I think, but it took me a really long time to believe in any value that anybody else seemed to see. And even now, I'll find myself, somebody will say something like you just said, something that's very kind, and my response is, people are very kind. Because sometimes I feel that, like I get to see all of the ways I feel like, oh man, I wish I'd done this differently, or I wish I'd said this in a different way. I see those, and maybe other people don't. So when I get those types of compliments, sometimes it's hard for me to receive them, to be honest.
Because you're a good dude. Hey, watch this. How quick are you to give compliments to people when you notice them?
I'm trying to be good at that.
Does that mean he's good at that?
He's good at that.
Yeah, you're good at that.
He can't even say he's good at that.
I know.
That makes him good at it.
Do you ever feel sometimes though, like the people with whom you are closest are the ones that you're the worst at doing that with?
That's how good guys treat the inner circle. Because we won't do that. We won't be short. We won't be impatient. We won't be a jerk with anyone outside the inner circle. Mm. And so the only time that we have that release because we are imperfect is usually with Neil's spouse and kids. Mm. We've talked about that before. We've confessed that before. Shoot, our wives are fully aware of that. And, so this is now in the vein of conversations of the difference between being good and being godly. Mm-hmm. Because that godliness really gets us in tune with our humanness, which gets us in tune with God's original intention, which, we're here to be loved. Mm. And in that we love. And in that we get to be imperfect. Like we literally get to be. We discover the need for a savior. We discover community. We discover our strengths through our weaknesses. Mm. And I bet a guy like you could communicate, even preach something like that to other folks and believe it for them. Mm-hmm. But for good guys like ourselves and many folks that we crash into, that applies to us as well. And that's a monster step in our own just spiritual development, awareness, understanding, maturity of embracing that for ourselves. Love God? Yeah. Love your neighbor? Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's like some self-care in that commandment as well. And when we don't do that, we miss an essential element to truly living in community, of loving people love us back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because you get that, you work out of this office with a particular humility and courage that is pretty obvious to the people that are in this community. Oh. And to friends like us that have been traveling with you for quite some time. And I, if I was going to speak not to this guy, this is fun, but to this guy, which we used to back in the day, man, just hold on and wait and see what happens, buddy, because it's going to be really cool. Because the love and the care and the concern you had for students, you now have for a bunch more students and a bunch of folks in this community. It's a game changer, man.
I wish I could go back though and tell that guy, hey, there's a better way to show your love and care, like that's more efficient and will actually garner more respect for you as a classroom teacher. Those are things we have to learn over time. And thankfully, even though I can't go back for myself, I do get this awesome group of teachers that I've learned as much from them as they have from me, because elementary is a whole different world than secondary. And I've done both levels of secondary, but man, when I came down here, there have been some times where teachers have had to sit back and let me just sort of, not crash and burn, but learn some interesting lessons. I'll never forget our first assembly. And like the fact that things did not go at all the way that I expected that they would go. And I learned very quickly, okay, here's how I need to set expectations. And the moment I did it, it fixed it. It was beautiful. because our kids respond really well. But I just didn't know what I was doing. I went into a first grade classroom one time to address something. And after the conversation, I said, all right, do you have any questions? The whole room went up. And the teacher is just in the back going,
I get the sense of like it's doctors and nurses, man. Doctors know some stuff, but it just seems like nurses know more.
Our frontline people.
Well, I'm
for
going
sure.
straight back to the blisters on his fingers. Like that's such a beautiful, like, I'm the principal, and this first grade teacher is going, he'll learn.
Yep. And he did.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, you've brought this up recently. Relationships are not efficient. We had that combo, didn't we? Relationships, they're just not, the authentic ones, they're not efficient. And you put that word in there, which, that is how you're wired. You were looking for efficiency. You can look all day, and you can even try to, rewire some things, but those two things aren't compatible, even if we try our best. And so there's another route, maybe not to efficiency, but authenticity. And it's that allowance of that teacher of not interrupting you, but giving you the grace to not fail, but figure it out.
Yep.
And you're probably figuring that out as a dad as well.
Yep.
Because fatherhood changes us for sure in our approach to our kids of eventually, we're in a very unique spot right here. He's at 21, I'm at 21, 19, and 17. And it's lots of space to go take that job or enter into that relationship or try that out. And find out that, or find out that, this resonates. This is certainly something that connects, and I've just discovered it. Why didn't I discover it already? Well, I mean, it's just how seasons of life work, so
Well,
it's been neat to see your journey.
You were speaking to efficiency. What I do think is the most efficient thing is to establish core truths that are the foundation of a relationship. Speaking from the school standpoint with our families, for the last 2 years, we've used the word partnership because the core truth of our relationship with our families at Oak Grove is that we want the same thing that all of our parents want, and that's for their students to be successful, for them to be the best versions of themselves that they can become. And we spend 7 hours a day with them trying to accomplish that. And then the parents spend the rest of the time with those kids trying to accomplish that. And a partnership between us makes really great sense. And every parent, every family that I've spoken with where we've been able to understand that together, I feel like we have incredible relationships with our families, and I think they get it. We've got good people that bring their kids to school here, and it's been fun to grow that trust in each other that we are really working for the same thing.
Your kiddos at school here? Yeah.
Yep, I've
How's
got
that
an
been?
upcoming 5th grader, and I've got an upcoming kindergartner. So for 1 year, my 2 girls will be together in the same place.
How's that been having your girl in the building?
It's been great with some caveats. So I've had to learn how do I do the dad thing without creating any feelings of unfair treatment, because that's really important to me. If she earns something, I want her to earn it. But I have to have conversations with her teachers. Just understand, I will be upset if she gets special treatment. And just making sure that they understand that they are released from any expectation of doing anything special for her. Now, if she earns it, I want her to get it.
Sure.
But on the flip side, she doesn't need to have any sort of extra. My dad was my elementary principal. I was not trying to recreate that, it just happened. And I remember he took me up to the cafeteria monitor one day and said, "This one's mine. If he does anything in this cafeteria that you need to let me know about, just know that I will double that punishment at home." And had that conversation with her in front of me. I'll never forget it. But it did help me understand that like, hey, you're not going to get any special treatment here. It used to bug me to death when I would have people tell me, like, oh, you never get in trouble because your dad's the principal. But I was a good kid.
Yeah.
Like, in the end, I was a good kid, and I didn't do things that
I'm not going to get in trouble because I don't want double trouble at home.
Yeah, for real.
I ain't no dummy.
For real.
Where was he at?
Hopewell.
Okay. So you were a Hopewell Tiger growing up.
From 1st through 6th, yes. So
What's your daddy doing now?
He's retired.
Yeah.
He was at Lee for a while, but he's full on retired and being grandpa or papa or whatever my youngest will call him. She changes his name often.
Now, are you an only child?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a dog.
Past tense.
Wasn't much for conversation. Yeah. Yeah, past tense.
Sorry I brought that up.
It's okay. He was 17 when he died. He couldn't
good
couldn't
life
see.
right there, yeah.
The few teeth he had left weren't good for eating. He was fine.
Now, do your parents come from siblings and you've got cousins in this town?
Dad had 3 others. Mom was the youngest of 12.
Wow. So y'all got people here in town, or are they all spread out everywhere?
We do have people in town. Now, my parents are in their 70s at this point, so there are far fewer than there were, obviously. But yeah, I mean, my mom had nieces and nephews that were older than her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Matt and I get to talking about family in this town, and I mean, he's always got a story to tell somewhere in this Bradley County map that you've drawn over there.
Yeah.
You said she's the youngest of 12. What was her maiden name?
Brewer.
Brewer? She come from Brewers here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very cool. I was just curious. I knew that. I've known of your mom and dad for
Do
a long
you
time.
remember from patrol techs, motorcycle techs?
Yeah, he used to carry a weed eater on the back of his motorcycle?
That's my cousin.
Really?
Yeah.
What's he do? Is he still
He
around?
passed away.
He did.
Yeah.
He was a big old feller, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
He was kind of a local legend, man.
He was, yeah.
Rode around on this little motorcycle, and there were all kind of myths and legends about feats of strength from this guy.
He was very strong. Yes.
Yeah, Tex. Everybody knew of him. I didn't know.
His name is Eddie. Yeah, he's my first cousin
Wow,
on my mom's side.
very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. We sat in a room here a while back, and we watched Jeremy Jones be walked in as our new principal.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched an entire high school staff, which you understand how many people that is, hoot and holler and stand and cheer.
Yeah.
And it was genuine.
Yes.
And at the core of it, it was not because of what was and what is.
Sure.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was in celebration of Jeremy Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've sat just as a 41-year-old observing this, because Jeremy Jones to me is very similar to you in that I've known him since I've known anybody. I've known of him, grew up in this town with him, and now with several weeks past to ponder on these things, I think, in my opinion, I've boiled it down to humble leadership, which you brought up when you were talking about Lipscomb. Is that right? Are you aware that you have that quality? You have those traits to where if they walked you into a room of people that you had bumped into, they would cheer for you? Do you even know? You're laughing because you're uncomfortable, aren't you?
I'm a little bit uncomfortable.
Okay, I know.
Yeah, I'm not laughing one bit.
I'm not laughing one bit.
I'm locked in.
I'm looking at you and asking, are you aware of that? Does
I do
one
not.
know? I don't have Jeremy Jones here to ask him. Does one know when they have that? This is a genuine curiosity.
I genuinely do not feel that that's the case. I appreciate that you said that.
I did not expect you to feel that that's the case. That's why I'm telling you.
It honestly, it's like I heard about that.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was like, man, I want to be that.
I think
someday.
any grown man in his right mind
Yes.
that sees that genuine reaction would want that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you have it. And that was my curiosity. Do you feel it?
No. I am starting to believe that maybe there are some things I'm doing that are being done the right way. because there's so much of this job that you don't know what to do until it happens, and then you got to figure it out. And so, like, I look at our teachers here and I think, man, they've had some grace for me over the last 2 years. Just knowing, like, okay, he's trying hard. Like, I feel like they could probably say that behind the scenes. He's really trying. Because
well, there's few people that want this job, Adam. And even though there are voices in every building that have the solutions or legitimate complaints, yeah, but to do the job is something else, and there's few people. So, I mean, much respect from most folks. Yeah, they see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I heard about Jeremy, I was thinking, all right, no one's ever going to be a Jeremy Jones like that. He is cream of the crop, unique, and an anomaly, dare I would say, in the quality that he brings. But I do know that he has been a mentor to me. When I went through my program at Lipscomb, I had to have a principal mentor work through the program. And so he and I would meet regularly as a satisfaction of the requirements of the degree. And so I got to shadow him at Valley View. In fact, shadowing him at Valley View is what gave me the first inclination that elementary might be a place for me. Because I'd only experienced secondary. Yeah. I was doing the dean work at Walker Valley as the dean of the Humanities Academy, and I remember thinking, like, this is where I'm at. Like, this is what I want to be. And then I went with Jeremy, and it was almost a little unsettling, like, oh, wow, I can maybe see this. And then when Jeremy Jones tells you something encouraging about it, he doesn't lie, and so when he told me that he could see me doing it, it opened up the thought of, okay, maybe. Yeah. Like, I'll table that, and I could almost feel myself in my heart and spirit sort of sliding it to the side, being willing to say, all right, that's there, and then let's keep on going.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah. Sometimes it only takes that one voice.
So I feel that, but then, I mean, you do see when people say nice things and when people act like they want you there, like that it warms the spirit. But I've also never felt like I was willing to rest in that. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think that's probably part of being that, isn't it? Never being, typically if we stress over something, that's what makes us good at that thing we're stressing over. It's like this love-hate relationship, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, I don't know, because some of the most successful people in any aspect, they have stressed over something and would probably look back years later and be like, man, I wish I hadn't stressed over that. But that stress all along was just being driven to improve that or be quality at it.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you that stress has been something with which I've dealt an unhealthy way for a long time until recent years too. I also feel like that's part of God's timing is we grow in the areas, like if I had done this job 3 years prior to when I was able to start as principal here, it would have ended me. I mean, seriously, I wouldn't have been able to cope with the things that need to be done and the burdens that need to be carried. And I'm not complaining about the job. This is the best job I've ever had. I don't want to do anything else. I feel blessed that I'm here, and I know I'm here with purpose, and the people that are here with me are here with purpose that benefits me. Like, it is a beautiful thing. But being a principal is the hardest job that I've ever had. And I didn't understand that even as a dean of students at Walker Valley, because I had Dr. Belt above me who, when things got too tough, I could go in and she could make a decision and then I could just be hands and feet. And that shield of having that superior above you, that is removed in some ways as the head principal of the school.
Sure.
But I would be amiss if I didn't let you know that central office, Dr. Kaler, Dr. Cash, HR, Sarah Crispin, like all those folks, I wouldn't have survived this without them either, because, I mean, that first year, I felt like I was calling Dr. Kaler 3 times a day. Hey, okay, what do I do about this? What do I do about this? And she was gracious and walked me through everything to the point where I feel like I got my feet under me now.
Yeah.
So
That phone call makes sense, but was there ever a phone call to like the Chris Greens of the world or even the Jeremys where you would rather have that conversation first before a central office conversation?
Yes.
Were those conversations happening as well?
Yeah, but
who else was on the other
they're
side of those lines?
Usually in different veins, because the stuff I didn't know was so much about the legal side of things, the paperwork side of things, or what thresholds have to be crossed before I do blank. And those are things that I needed to hear from my superior.
Sure.
But I could call Jeremy or I could call Chris, Kirk Campbell. I could call those guys when it came down to, hey, here's what I'm experiencing in this particular relationship. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you think about this? Or okay, there's this planned. Tell me about the optic of this. If I make this choice, tell me what you think that looks like from the outside, and just getting that other principal perspective has been super helpful too.
What other levels do you have? Do you ever, I'll drop some names, do you ever lean on like a Tim Riggs?
Oh yeah.
Or a
Tim Riggs was my whole year one principal mentor in district. So he and I met once a month. He does that for every new principal, regardless of their years of experience. He's meeting with them, and so he's been great. And he'll still show up at our admin meetings. Like he did CPI training with us. Like he's still in the mix.
And then you have other levels like Randall Ferguson. Like
Yes.
I'm sure that's...
And Dad, he and I are really similar in a lot of ways. The only difference there is the game is not the same.
Yeah,
It's so different but even now he'll tell me little strategies that he uses. Like, oh, that's a good idea. I mean, I have to tweak it to adjust it to what things look like now, but there's some core operational procedures there that are valuable, even though none of education looks the same as it did.
Do you notice maybe some principles of your past, or have you been in? I'm asking this because there may be some teachers who want to make this transition one day, and they would love to hear your thoughts. I'm curious to know if you've been going about your business at any point here at Oak Grove, and maybe realize like, oh, that Spangler would have did this, or Nat would have did this. Just little bits and pieces. Have you pieced together some of that? Do you have thoughts about it?
Yeah, so everybody that I worked under, I've had great principals. So say that first and foremost. Assistant principals I've worked for, everybody had a characteristic or 10 that I feel like I would want to adopt. And so it's more so memories. Like I think about Mr. Spangler, and he had this interesting calm about him as he would walk through. I was never afraid for him to be in my room. But I remember a meeting that we were in where he stood up to a combative parent. And I'll never forget the way he stood up for a teacher. It wasn't even me. I was just in the meeting. And just took ownership of the situation. And you wouldn't see that in him, just him walking around the hallways. I never felt like he was walking with speed. Like I feel like I'm all the time walking. People joke about having to keep up with me, but
That's not a joke. That's real.
he strolled,
Yeah, he did.
you know? And there was this quiet calm that I love. And I'm not there yet.
Yeah, he was great in crisis.
Yes,
I mean,
but like when it was time to
And
step
we're not
up
even talking about a boss or principal, just man, because there's so many things over so many years that happen, and to see that guy just step into that space, gosh, he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so seeing him that way, I want to be that eventually. Right now, there are the crises that I've handled. I can step in. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I need you to do this. I need you to do, like I can disseminate all the jobs, but I've not experienced enough of them yet.
You're building those calluses.
Yeah, for sure.
And by the time we got Spangler, man, I mean, he'd been in education for
30
30 years
yes,
already.
Yes,
You know?
yeah. And so, yes, I can see characteristics like that in everybody under which I served. I learned a lot from Dr. Belt because I worked in administration with her. And so I remember situations where it's, oh, holy moly, what am I going to do with this? And then she'd come in and I'd just watch her work. And I saw the way that what she took notes on as she was dealing with the situation. It gave me insights into, okay, this is going to be important to know. And she was asking questions. Oh, she asked that question. And then I'd find out later why she needed to know that piece of information. That's stuff you just don't get.
She gave excellent feedback.
Yeah, until you're watching somebody work in a situation that you've already worked and you didn't do it all, you know?
Yeah.
So it was really good.
Yeah.
Well, I could love on you all day, man, and I could pick your brain all day. But I'm going to pass back over to Paul and finish this any way you want to, my brother.
That was an awkward pass. I mean, it's like you're just done. You're just going to sit over there?
I was wondering how long you were going to stare at him.
Well, Adam and I are just going to talk over here? What's going on?
No. There might have been a subtle hint, too, that, like...
I wish you would I think it's time to wrap it up.
It's time to wrap it up, Paul. It's time to wrap up the recordings. We'll continue the conversation, of course.
I'm here as long as y'all want to be.
Yeah, because we've got some B-roll to create. A 2000, what year did I tell you? 2012 third grade championship banner. We got to take a picture of.
Okay.
Have to.
We can do that.
We don't have to.
I'll get you up there.
Yeah.
I mean, we can play a quick game if y'all need to.
Love it.
During my lunch break.
I'll record it. I'll record it. I won't be playing the technician and the gargantuan. I won't be doing that.
Adam, this was so much fun. You didn't hesitate to say yes. And that's all Matt and I.
As long as y'all don't feel like it was a complete flop, then
This is what we do, man. We just sit and chat, and this is what you do. You
I was
deflect.
just worried I wasn't going to be interesting
deflect.
enough to talk to. So
Maybe we should keep talking until he says something interesting.
Say something interesting. You got any hot takes? You got anything controversial?
I mean,
you
I've
wanna
got
get out
great
there?
dad jokes, but that's about it.
Give me one.
What do you call a pile of cats? A meowton.
That's terrible.
They're all terrible.
That's what makes
That's
it
the
so
point.
fantastic.
That's the point.
Two more.
What's brown and sticky?
I know this one.
A stick.
That's not funny.
All right, last one.
I'm a dad joke sucker, man.
I know you are.
All right, what do you call a pony with a sore throat?
You know this one too?
It's got to be
A little horse.
I broke on the third one. It takes three.
It's fantastic, man.
Thanks for listening to Downright Mindful. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If you enjoy our conversations, be sure to follow, share, or leave a review. It helps more than you know. And hey, don't go anywhere. We've got a little bonus content waiting for you right after the music.
Are you a podcast listener?
Mm-hmm.
What do you listen to? A genre, people?
Right now, I'm listening to horror fiction.
Of course you are. So you can just not think about anything else.
I really don't want to think about something that I have to process.
That's right.
I'd rather be
Yeah, no, I get it.
hear some creepy sounds and like
what we listen to says something about like not only like who we are. You can go that deep, maybe not go that
horror
deep.
podcasts,
But seasons of our life where we just don't want to do much.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's because I do feel like I'm going home and I've done everything that I can do. Like I don't have anything left. So having some British guy read a manuscript from the Magnus archives is exactly what I want to experience when I'm in my car.
Will you pull your phone out and let me pair it with this thing and
Yep.
voice memo it?
Do I get to keep my phone? So I can take a peek at it.
Oh, yeah.
Do I?
Yeah, you will. Just
If not, there's like 6 things I forgot to ask Bill that I want.
Have you ever used BandLab? That's what I used to use to record my podcasts for my classes. I just use a condenser mic, it's cloud-based, so you can be on your phone, you can be on your computer, whatever. And so really you can, as long as you got an internet connection, you can do it. And it's got effects and it maps it all out. It's super easy to use. And so even for our Vacation Bible School, we do like a big full production thing. All of our voiceovers, I just record it on my laptop.
That's fun.
So.
What's your role at the church these days?
Um,
Because you just said VBS, but
Yeah.
you still a deacon over there? You still at
I'm
North Cleveland
back
Baptist?
I'm back on rotation. We do 3 years
Check
off.
one. Check.
3 years on, 1 year mandatory off, and then up for re-election. So it's not like once a deacon, always a deacon. It's you get elected for 3 years and then maybe again at some point. So I'm back on a cycle. Play lead guitar for choir. My wife and I lead the youth worship band. We've done kind of some of the kids that are in there, we've taught how to play their instruments. And
Love that.
however, I don't know that we'll ever work ourselves out of a job, because you're getting a middle schooler who you just taught to play guitar or how to play some chords on the piano or the bass. And by the time they would get good enough to actually take over, they're seniors, and it just doesn't happen as quickly. So I think we'll keep doing that until we're too old and uncool to be up there.
Phil Pippinger and I, we've always had a theory on that. You know that fella?
Yeah. Worked with Phil a lot.
Yeah. Why do we hire, 25-year-old youth ministers who have zero life experience, who are newly married, and who have cool hair?
Yeah.
Why not a 40,
Yeah.
45-year-old who has some life experience and knows how to listen more than just talk?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
And they might.
All right, guys. Sorry. We're ready. It took me a minute, but we're good. Keep going.
No worries.
Yeah, my wife is media director now at church, so she runs the website, social media. She does the photography, the videoing. She makes all the reels that from Dr. J's sermons, and then she writes our VBS curriculum and the full-length drama. So
Very cool. You can buy all that. You know that, right?
Yeah.
No, I love it though.
Yeah. So right now, if you walked into our sanctuary, you'd see a 2-story pyramid and an office. You'll see holes in the ceiling because we've got like a rope that we're swinging across a chasm. Becca will be rappelled from the ceiling down. There's a rope ladder. Like it's that level.
Yeah.
Like we're pretty extra when it comes to VBS. We're not recording, are we?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's over the top. Yeah, I get it. That's what the kids need, man.
They do.
They love that
it.
stuff.
Yeah. We're at the place now where I don't know if we're going to have the capacity for as many kids as have signed up. So.
You'll figure it out.
We'll
Don't rain. Put them
have to.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know that we'll be able to fit them in the
Oh.
classrooms and all that. So. Yeah.
Buddy, we're already warmed up and we're on. Yep.
We're on.
We're still going to do our warm-up exercise. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Matt really wants you to look at the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, what you're going to do is you're going to introduce yourself. Hi, this is. And
Which camera?
that one.
Okay.
Look at that one and say, I'm Adam Ferguson, and this is Downright Mindful.
Okay.
Okay. And you got to be more entertaining than Bill Estes was last week. Not that he wasn't entertaining, but we're
would
looking
keep
to
that
up
in?
it.
This-
We're looking to up it.
Oh, yeah, that can stay.
This will stay. Yeah, that'll stay for sure.
This one line with some life. That's all we're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
In your best broadcast voice.
All right. Like seriously,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look like a goofball, but I love broadcast voice.
Oh, well, then it's got to go. Yeah.
Ready?
Does he need to center up so it's just him, or is he good from this angle?
No, he's fine. I
Okay.
can do whatever I want.
Okay.
Whatever we need done with it.
I'm Adam Ferguson, and this is Downright Mindful.
Love it.
Can we do like rocker Adam Ferguson? Achilles? Adam?
I'm not gonna scream.
I mean, there is no one in this building except the maintenance guy right now.
No.
Yeah, don't do it. I don't recommend it. because I'm going to put it on YouTube. Oh, thanks, Adam.
My pleasure. I don't think I said anything job ending. That was my only concern with doing this, is making sure I'm not going to stick my foot in my mouth. I don't think Dr. Cash will care about the tight pants.
A Bluetooth coffee cup is still blowing my mind. So what do you set the temperature at? Is it like an exact temperature or just warmer?
Yeah, it's an exact temperature. I think I had it at 144. That's also the frequency of an A. Like the note A.
How thrilled are you to
440
know
hertz.
that this didn't record one thing? How fun is that?
So, no video?
This recorded all of it, but it's just him in the shot. Girl!